What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another episode of Player Ratings. We have lost 1-0 to Pacos de Ferreira in the Europa Conference League. And let's get straight into it with the first player we're going to rate is Pierre Luigi Golini, who we're giving a 6. I mean, he made a few comfortable saves in the first half. Maybe could have done slightly better for the goal, but I'm not going to rate him down for that one. It was a one-on-one. I mean, maybe he could have got down a bit quicker, but like I said, I'm not going to kind of rate him down for it or anything.
Nah, I don't think he could do anything with that goal.
Talking about the goal, I mean, is going to be very, very harsh, but there was kind of question marks over Golini, which I heard of him coming out for one-on-ones and stuff. But look, you can't really say anything about the goal, to be honest. But his performance on a whole was all right. I mean, everything that he was called upon, he pretty much did.
Yeah, he didn't have that much to do, did he? There was a game of very few shots. I think they had 2 shots all game. We had 1 shot all game. So, look, he didn't have too much to do. I don't personally could have done much with the goal. If you look at the finish, it was a very good finish, actually.
It was, yeah.
It was quite far away from his hand. So, I don't know what he could do about that. But, yeah, not much of note. Didn't have too much to do, really.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on to Matt Doherty. We gave him a 3. And, you know, you got to say Matt Doherty came into this game as one of the more experienced players, one of the players that the younger players will probably look at. And he just really, really was awful, to be honest. He didn't add anything whatsoever to the game. I thought he was poor going forward, poor defensively, and what more can I say?
Yeah, I mean, defensively, I don't think it was that bad. He didn't have too much to do, so he couldn't have been too bad. Tottenham had majority possession throughout the game. But when you look at him going forward, a number of times he's in very good positions.
0 impact.
0. Especially in link-up play as well. There's a few times, especially in the second half, Gill's giving him the ball to try and link up with him, and he's just taking an age to release the ball and to try and find a man and find players in promising positions. He was just dreadful again, Matt Doherty, I must say. He just didn't offer anything. The only thing why he's not a 1, I would say, is just because a couple of times he's in that right-hand spot and he beat a player and looked to find an opening, but he just had nothing about him, nothing apart from that.
Cameron Carter-Vickers, we also gave him a 3. Not too sure what this guy's still doing at Tottenham. I've said it year on year. Probably since this channel started, we've said, why is Cameron Carter-Vickers still at Tottenham? And we've been going for nearly 5 years now. So, I mean, we gave him a 3. And for the goal, I felt like he should have stepped up with Romero. I mean, apart from that, he looked really nervy on the ball. And just a poor ball display from him.
Yeah, he definitely played Lucas Silva onside for the goal, that's for sure. And you've got to say as well, he injured himself doing some crazy clearance near the end of the game, which he had to go off for. I don't know, look, I agree. He shouldn't be anywhere near this team at the moment. He shouldn't even be in the Conference League team. I just don't think he's up to it at Tottenham's level. And I think he's done all right in the Championship. I think he's found his level there. That's the thing.
Let's move on to debutant Christian Romero. We gave a 4. First display in English, well, it was in European football, but for Tottenham, first starting role, played 90 minutes. And I thought there were some good, there were some bad in there. There were some nervy moments on the ball from him. Obviously, when he stepped up for the goal, no one else stepped up, so he got caught out. There were some nice aggressive moments from him coming out from the back and claiming the ball, but I do expect better from Christian Romero, to be honest. Yeah,
there was a one moment early on when he lets the ball run under his foot, and it kind of led to an opportunity for Pacos. But I think overall, it was a poor display, but I can see what he was trying to do. I think a lot of the times he was being extremely aggressive coming in from behind the Pacos attackers, and he was giving away fouls and stuff, and he wasn't able to nick the ball away from them, and he was giving away fouls in the halfway line in dangerous positions. But I think that's instruction from Nuno, and I think that's the way Romero plays. That was the way he's used to playing at Atalanta. And it very much reminded me of Højbjerg's debut, just playing at 100 miles an hour and just desperate to impress and desperate to be super aggressive and always going. But sometimes you have to stay. You can't always do that all the time. And I think he'll learn that. Once he gets his sharpness back as well, I'm sure he's going to be a valuable player, because I think that kind of performance in terms of being super aggressive can work, and especially in a system where he's got better players around him. But I think yesterday he was outdone a few times.
Moving on to Ben Davis, we gave him a 4. Started off in the left of a back 3, then moved over at half-time to left back, and then even moved back into centre back at some point during the second half as well. I don't think it was like as bad as Cameron Carter-Vickers, but I do think, like, from a defensive point of view, I thought he was actually our best defender, but that was me. But even so, saying he was our best defender doesn't really say much. But yeah, just a really nothing display in there from him again.
Yeah, I thought he was caught out a few times, to be fair. On that left hand side, a few times the players were able to beat him, and he didn't look sharp. He didn't. I don't think he looked great, to be honest. Ben Davies. It was another display. He was our captain on the day, unbelievably. But I think for me, yeah, I don't know. He didn't impress me at all, Ben Davies.
All right, let's move over to Ryan Sessignon. We gave him a 5. I thought with Ryan Sessignon, you definitely saw the effort there. You definitely saw him trying. Finally, we've started to see him taking on men, getting in right positions in the pitch, but I still think he lacked quality.
Yeah, it felt like a few times, especially in the second half, he kept getting doubled up, and we didn't really react to that. And if he's getting doubled up, he's got to release the ball early to find other players in space. And I think there are a few times in the first half where he was linking up well with Brian Hill and getting to the byline, but there was a number of times I remember Hill was on the left-hand side and Sessignon just standing there, not moving, and he's kind of like either expecting the ball or expecting Hill to like do something, and it was quite frustrating for me to watch. And I think he's got to improve that, being more aware when he's not on the ball, to kind of move, make space for other players and stuff like that, which was quite frustrating. But I think he apparently after the game he was speaking to Alice Gold, said he's not looking to go out on loan this summer. He's definitely wanting to stay in the first team and fight for it. So I'm hoping Nuno can coach him in an effective way, because I do think there's quality there. I think a few times he did show some quality and show what he's about, but unfortunately too many facets to get to his game are just missing at the moment.
Moving over to Harry Winks, we gave him a 3. I mean, how long are we going to put up with these kind of Harry Winks displays for? Time and time again now, way too often when he's on the pitch. I felt like in the middle of the park, he wasn't strong enough in the tackle. I felt that sometimes in the midfield, he was being completely overrun as well by the Pacos midfield. And again, Harry Winks just did not add anything to this game.
Yeah, he was really poor. He was really poor. I think on the ball as well, he wasn't being creative enough or positive enough with his passes. There are a few times he played it into La Celso or to Brian Hill in decent positions, thinking, okay, that's what we need to do. We only did it a couple of times. We need him to be constantly doing that to put back Pacos on the back foot, and he wasn't doing that. As you say, for the goal, he got tackled, and they would end up scoring from it. So he's got to take the blame for that. And the only sympathy I have with him is I felt he didn't have much help next to him or around him. That's why he kept getting overrun. But you know, he's a senior player. He's got to take responsibility, and in these kind of games, he's got to start bossing it. And he did the opposite of that. So really, really disappointing performance again from Harry Winks.
Let's move over to Niall John, a young player coming in for his first competitive start for Tottenham. We gave him a 3. It was a big day for Niall John, and it was a big day. And I felt that he was just a bit out of his depth, it felt. Failed to make an impact. And I think that he was also a big part of why Winks was so out on his own in the middle of the park. And he just failed to just stamp his authority on the game, and he did get hooked at half time. Yeah,
I remember there was one moment even I think in the first half where he dribbles the ball off the pitch and completely just seemed like he didn't know what he was doing there, and he wasn't getting on the ball. I don't remember him on the ball at all. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know the stats, but I wouldn't be surprised if he had the least touches in centre midfield on the pitch, or maybe apart from Scarlett. And for a central midfielder to be like that is you can't be like that. You have to be showing for the ball all the time. You need to be getting on the ball and being confident. And I felt like Niall John was a complete sorry to say, he was a bit of a passenger yesterday, and he wasn't effective at all, and I'm not surprised he got hooked at half time. I thought he had a really poor performance.
Moving on to Giovanni La Celso, we gave him a 4. In terms of Gio, he was really the man that you look to make stuff happen for Tottenham yesterday. He was probably our best player on the pitch. And I thought the opening exchanges of the game, he looked confident. He looked like he was going to make stuff happen. But then he just kind of came in and went out the game very often, and more often than not he was out the game. And I think most of the times he went forward, he kind of left quite a few gaps in the midfield and at the back. So not a good display from him, to be honest.
Yeah, well, he was playing on the wing kind of, wasn't he, at the beginning, on the right hand side. I felt a bit for Gio yesterday. I know a lot of people are complaining about it, but I felt there was a lot of moments, I remember a lot of moments where he was playing deep, he's beating the lines very effectively, taking touches past players, getting to the final third, but I felt like there's just no options for him. There was no movement. He's looking up saying, come on, you know, he wants to play a through ball or a ball over the top, and there was just nothing in front of him. There was no help, and he ends up giving the ball away, and then everyone sees him give the ball away, says, "Oh, La Celso took the ball away. What poor play!" But I felt like a lot of the times it wasn't totally his fault. A few times he was sloppy. I think a few times he's deep in midfield and he's playing a square pass and it's a sloppy pass and he's giving it away, and I think that's where you mark him down. But I think a few times he's in the final third trying to do stuff, trying to create stuff, and players around him weren't on his level, apart from maybe Hill, who we'll talk about in a minute. But I did feel for him a bit yesterday, and I think he's getting a bit too much criticism for his performance. But having said that, as you say, if he's as good as we think he is, he's got to be able to take the ball, take the game by the scruff of the neck. Even, you know, how many shots did he have? I don't remember any shots he had. How many times is he getting in the box and helping out the attackers when they're on the ball? Not enough. So there's definitely stuff to criticise him for. But I do feel yesterday he's one of the players who was definitely trying stuff and being more positive than other players.
Yeah. But we move over to Brian Hill, who we gave a 5. He was probably our most positive outlet on the day. From the first minute of the game, you know, you could see the quality he has there, taking on players, lovely stilky touches he has to take it round players, lovely first time passes as well. But he kind of just vanished out of the game really after maybe the first 20 minutes, half an hour, and then we hardly really saw him in the second half, which was a bit of a downside. Nuno did say after the game we need to find the right position for him, and I think that's right. I mean, he was everywhere on the pitch. He was like on the left hand side, he was on the right hand side, sometimes in the middle. But I feel like he needed to like kind of carry on how he started off, because he kind of just he started off like 100 miles per hour and then like just weaned out the game, didn't he?
Yeah, there was some really, really early flashes of brilliance, weren't there, from Brian Hill, and you thought this guy is going in for a great game, and he did kind of flit in and out the game. Again, I don't think he was helped by people around him. A few times he's doing quick passes and quick exchanges, and either he doesn't get the ball back, or when he does get the ball back, there's no movement to really hurt the opposition. You can only really give it to the players in safe position. So I felt there was no one really doing dangerous runs inside the box, and I felt for him in that aspect, especially on second half when he's linking out on Matt Doherty. And like he's doing quick passes, and Doherty's like moving like a dump truck, and he can't and he's taking an hour to kind of make a pass. And I felt for him there, but I do feel like on the right hand side, I'm not saying in general this is how it was going to be going forward, but I felt like definitely in this game he was less effective on the right hand side than he was on the left, and he linked up a lot better with Sessignon on the left hand side than he did with Doherty on the right.
Yeah, that's 100% true.
But we'll see how it moves going forward. There's definitely early flashes, and I obviously want to temper expectations, but there are definitely moments where his dribbling looked like when he's in full flight, he's definitely hard to stop.
I mean, there were points in the game yesterday when we were here in the watch along saying this guy is no one's on the same wavelength on the pitch as him.
Yeah,
and that's what it felt like at times, especially in the early stages of the first half.
Yeah.
And the last of the starting 11, Dane Scarlett, we gave him a 4. Massive opportunity for him yesterday out in Portugal, and I felt for him massively, because, you know, he was tirelessly running, chasing shadows for the first 45 minutes, and then I think he was just pretty much feeding off scraps the whole game. He got no service whatsoever. He couldn't get a shot on goal. You know, you have players on the pitch like Giovanni La Celso, Brian Hill, Ryan Sessignon, Matt Doherty, all trying to feed him, and they couldn't do anything to give him one chance. Not even one chance he got yesterday.
They're giving him terrible passes throughout the whole game. I remember like Davis is lumping the ball onto him. He's a 17-year-old kid up against 2 strong centre backs. They're like lumping it along, looking for him to flick on and stuff. And I think at times, to be fair to him, like there were a couple of times where he was able to get the ball down and hold the ball up well and bring other players and bring the ball down and bring other players into play fairly well. And I was like, okay, for a 17-year-old, that's not bad. But like in terms of actually doing anything to hurt the opposition, he didn't do anything, to be honest. Not his fault totally. I'm sure he was making runs off the defenders and he just wasn't being found and stuff like that, but he barely had a touch. I think second half, I think he did have a shot which went way over the bar from 25 yards. That was like our only shot of the game, pretty much. I think it was him, if I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was Scarlett who had the shot. But other than that, like, did he have a touch inside the box? I don't think so.
Probably not that I can remember.
Not that I can remember. And I felt like he got bullied from the 2 centre-backs from Pacos.
All right, and the substitute, Jack Clark, who came on for Niall John at half-time, we gave him a 4. I mean, there was a bit of running in there from him, but literally I can't remember anything of note that he did.
Yeah, Moon played on the left-hand side. I don't know if that's his strongest position, but Hill was on the right, he was on the left, and I don't remember anything he did. Yeah, don't remember anything. I remember one run, maybe a bit of a dribbling, cut inside and made a pass inside. Like, that was it. Didn't have any crosses, no shots. I felt like Sessignon, he was getting in Sessignon's way, and Sessignon was getting in his way as well on the left-hand side. So poor display from Clark at half, coming on the second half as well.
Yeah, the next two subs we're not going to give ratings to. Janelle Bennett came on for Ryan Sessignon with about 10 minutes to go, and Maxim Pascozzi came on for the injured Cameron Carter-Vickers with about 3 minutes to go. But nothing of note for them. No. In terms of Nuno, I would say Nuno, you got to give a 3, or you got to give something around that kind of area, 3 or 4. In terms of the starting lineup, I didn't have a problem with the starting lineup. What I had a problem with is no plan B from the bench, because I don't think there was an issue with that starting lineup, and I think, you know, just losing 1-0, the game could have gone a different way if other players did kind of perform, like a Giovanni La Celso, like a Matt Doherty. You know, if these players came to the fore and really improved and really like put in a performance, we could have got a result. But obviously they didn't, and I think it's a big kind of blot on Nuno's rating in this game to not have a plan B on the bench. And I think that bench, you know, we had 11 players, more than 11 players left at home that could have made an impact in this game coming off the bench. And I think
in their sleep, probably.
In their sleep. And I think that, that's a big down point in Nuno's rating for me today.
Yeah, yesterday. I always thought, looking at what players were going, it was a big risk not having anyone involved who he can rely on to change the game if things not going well. He pretty much had his first 11, and he kind of said if it doesn't work out with his first 11, then we have no other option. So we have to kind of keep these players on, and that's the risk you take. And unfortunately, it didn't work out. Luckily for him, it's only 1-0, so it's a recoverable situation. But I felt like he, I don't know whether it's underestimating or he kind of thought that he can get away with playing that team, but I think he got it wrong in this one. He should have had some backup plan, and he should have had players involved which he knew can come on and make an impact. Unfortunately, he didn't have that, so we end up losing the game. So I think he got that wrong, and I think he'll hopefully learn from it. But we have to, obviously, I don't think he's going to be doing this often, but I think he wanted to give these players time on the pitch to kind of early in the season, so they're getting ready for the new season. But you know, we have to turn this around now. As much as it is 1-0, they have won they did win, so we have to go and win the second leg. Obviously, it's well within our powers to do that, but it's just something we have to go and do now, as opposed to killing the time the first leg and having the next week off. Yeah, completely agree. But that is our player ratings for the first leg of the Europa Conference League qualifiers. 1-0 loss to Pacos de Ferreira. Let me know in the comment section below what your ratings are, and if you agree with our ratings. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.